All right.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Kevin Show. Today we have a very special guest, Heavyhauler16 on YouTube.
Hey guys.
I'll probably refer to him as Tyler, but if that's all right.
Yeah, I go by a few names, right? I'm Heavy Hauler Tyler on Facebook, so
Yeah.
whichever everyone knows me from.
But first, the boring crap as usual, disclaimer and all that other stuff. The views expressed in this show are not the views of the Model News Group nor anybody associated with it. These are our own personal views, opinions, and further such and should be viewed. There will also be some mild to coarse language throughout this, which, is pretty typical if you guys know the K Kappa Joe, but, otherwise, yeah, let's dive in. Uh, so, you've been doing YouTube for quite some time.
About 5 years now, pretty
I've
much.
I've only done it for three or so.
Yeah, I've been in and out, but I've had the account since 2010, August 24th, I believe.
Eh, it's it's been a while for me,
It,
so it's definitely been amount of time. But you've seen
it's no, go ahead.
you've seen the community change quite a bit.
I have, yeah, I've seen it. Like I didn't really see it when it was in its golden days, but I've seen the golden days kind of fade into what it's become.
Really, now it's all about Instagram, and Sal was very expressive about that. I know you watched that interview.
Oh, definitely. Yep, I did watch that.
Hopefully we can have him back pretty soon.
Yeah, I'd definitely do a show, and I'd like to be in on that if we could work that out.
I'll try.
Because I've never spoken to Sal, like personally, right? I've only messaged him because
Yeah.
we were good friends back in the day when everything was going strong.
Which, I mean, the community has really made a decent rebound from what it was, say 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years it was pretty much at a standstill.
It was pretty much just an empty desert 2 years ago. North Scott wasn't really, barely anybody was releasing any new models, and with TWH going out,
Yeah, that collapsed, and then everything just you know.
went went to shit creek from there.
Yep, that's agreed.
And then we started to see a rebound, especially with Instagram.
That was a big thing. I stumbled across that a few months ago because I've had my own Instagram on there since I'd say 2012, but I've been only posting heavy equipment and trucks that I've had from my Facebook that I wanted more attention to, and I did get more attention to them on there.
Yeah,
So
because let's put it this way, and I'll agree with Sal on this, that Google pretty much screwed up YouTube with the Google Plus crap.
it did. Agreed.
Big time.
Yeah,
Especially the commenting system. It's harder to interact with people.
very hard.
And then Facebook, that sort of faded out.
Yeah, that's kind of it's there, but it's not it's not the number one choice almost.
And now Instagram and sort of Snapchat's getting up there too.
Oh really? I'm not really. I got Snapchat, but I haven't. I
Yeah.
haven't known anything about that.
But yeah, definitely it's awesome to interact with people on Instagram. I do it quite often. I mean, I got 3,200 followers on Instagram, which is awesome for a heavy equipment page too.
That is really excellent.
And mine's medium sized. We got people up there within the 6, 7, and 8 range. I'm not talking about pushy 6, of course, because
Well, I mean, he's big.
he's got his legions and legions of followers. And
Yeah.
Scott's a pretty good guy, though. I've actually gotten to talk to him.
Okay, right on.
So yeah, he actually did an Anthony Lucibello show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's
That's
on Anthony's channel. Anthony's a really good guy too. He lives in New England. He sees a bunch of stuff.
okay.
He's seen a big excavator that only 5 or 6 were made of in the world.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. Him and his friends, him and Jesse and John, Jesse Burst and John Gibson, they go to places every weekend. It seems and sees old equipment.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just stuck here in the middle of the Midwest. Just seeing what I see.
Yeah, that's like me. I see what I see at work every day, and that's it. Like I operate equipment and drive trucks, so I
Yeah.
see it every day. It's nothing, but I do enjoy seeing different things. I'm always on the watch for stuff, right?
Yeah, of course, from what you told me that you are sort of in the paving industry.
I was, yeah. I left that company a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm doing just the general construction, road building, stuff like that,
Ah,
pipes and stuff.
pipe work.
Yeah.
I love that stuff too. You know, the pipe work, under drain work, and all that.
It's honestly, I didn't never think paving was so. It's almost more complicated than what it looks.
Yeah, and I was there with the paving from the roundabout site, and it's more than just adjusting the screen and letting a dump truck back into the paver and just go.
Very much so.
I
It
mean,
is.
being there when they was putting the final coat on, they spent probably 2 hours marking the width of the screen so they'd get an even pass, and then getting
Yeah,
all the positioning right.
it's very precise, and the guys are very serious. All the foremans and all the boss and everything like that. And I've done a fair bit of milling as well, right? Backing up to a milling machine, and then they'll tear it up and put it in your truck, and everything is you got to be watching all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And even when you're backing into the paver, if you're on a hill, you got to be holding so much brake because if you roll away from the buggy, well, you can't have asphalt falling on the ground because it hardens very fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's very precise, very, very careful, and it's good to have.
I never thought that until I got into it, but I did. It's a different kind of trucking, definitely.
Yeah, what was awesome about it though is I learned quite a bit from that roundabout project. Not just about general earth moving and all that, but paving. I learned the whole 9 yards there, and you don't realize how much goes into it until you've actually been there for a while.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
I was there for the entire 2 months, and you know what? For a month of that time, they couldn't do anything because they was waiting for the final layer of asphalt, the mixture, to get inspected.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you wouldn't think that'd be a big deal, but it is, especially when it comes to the final layer.
Very big deal when it comes down to the engineers and all the core sample testing they got to do and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It gets, you know,
like I said, it's not just put the screed down and just go.
no, not at all. Like since I've gotten into the pipe work now, I mean, you load your truck and you go, you dump it, and you forget about it and go on and do it all day and then park it and go home. And with paving, I mean, well, you gotta make sure your dump box is greased up with diesel so it don't stick from the en route from the plant to the buggy, and it's crazy. You're always got to be making sure this is not happening, that's not happening, and it's a lot to it.
And you also got to closely watch the weather and all that too.
Very. And as soon as it starts raining, that's it. Usually, what we do here, where we have to do the shoulders as well, with the shouldering machine, to put, we'll go get a certain type of rock that they want, like, we're not so much rock, but gravel, and then we'll haul it out and we'll do the sides of the roads to bring it up to level with the pavement.
Yeah,
And that's usually what we'll do if it starts to rain because, instead of just going home, we usually used to do something.
yeah, and really, you guys fair thought for the guys that aren't on the paver, the guys that are making sure everything's perfectly squared and all that, because that asphalt, it is pretty heavy once you actually get a shovel full.
Oh, very.
Exactly, and they actually are pushing it back with pretty much anything they can get their hands on and WD-40 on.
Yeah. It's pretty thick stuff.
Yeah, it
And
is.
hot.
Yeah, really. I was actually out there for the entire time they put in the final coat, and that was a good 19 or 20 hours.
Oh,
Lit-
yeah.
Literally, just to pave a roundabout, a two-lane roundabout, medium size.
Yeah.
They was out there from probably about 4 o'clock in the morning till about maybe 1 o'clock at night. It was a
Oh, yeah.
long day, and they didn't actually start paving till probably about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because one, they gotta get perfect timing on the dump trucks,
Yeah.
and also to make sure that they're not at a standstill for too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if that asphalt starts, getting set up in the paver, that could be a problem.
Yes, it can. It can create a lot of problems.
You also gotta get all the equipment going. You gotta make sure that everything is swept off and clean.
Yes, exactly.
So it's not just sitting there and
N-
paving.
Not at all. No. I,
So
I learned real fast when I got into that. And that was my first job as a heavy equipment operator and truck driver. That was my first. I got called by this paving company, and they were pretty big here in this province I'm in. And yeah, it was kind of jumped right into it.
of course, the shuttle buggy, I learned quite a bit about it too. And the only thing I knew prior to the roundabout site was that it was a rare model of a machine, but actually getting to see one and even operating one, at a point. It's more than just that. Of course, around here, there's a lot of, like, if you're going to do a government paving job, you got to have one.
Yes, exactly.
Because, one, it has the augers in there that mixes up the mixture and keeps it rich.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, exactly. Because after it's in the dump truck, all the oils and all that, they start to settle and all that.
Yeah. So that yeah, make it. I kind of want that model pretty bad.
Yeah, I told you where to get it, so
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
I'm wishing you luck.
Yeah.
But it's still a cool model, and the machine's really cool too.
Well, they are cool. Yeah, they're big things too.
They're
They're not
scream
very small.
and loud.
Very loud. Yep.
But I tried to get the Rotec paver, but they just didn't accept the credit card that I wanted or that I had.
Is that the Norscot one?
Yes.
I got that. It's here in front of me.
The Rotec?
Yep.
Man,
The
that's sweet.
RP 190.
That's actually what they had here too. Exactly.
Yeah, we had a Terex out there, and there's never been a Terex model of a paver made. So
There,
I was kind of out of luck there.
there was an Ingersoll-Rand paver quite a while ago. I think it's by Conrad. I'm thinking.
Ingersoll Rand. Yeah, there was. We had one of those as well.
Yeah. The Cat AP 600. It's actually a pretty nice model.
Is it?
Considering, but if I've been saying, if you were to get one, which would you get? Open canopy or no canopy or no canopy?
Probably no canopy because we
That
don't see that here.
that's actually a smart decision because you know what? There's one main difference.
What's that?
The screed. The screed is
Was it?
so much more accurate on the no canopy because it has the fold down platforms on the back, and then the screed is actually like a box screed.
Okay.
So it's a lot more accurate and a lot nicer.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So Norsk actually did a pretty good job on that one. I'll give them that.
Some of Norscot stuff it's hit or miss, right? You can buy it and then you'll get it in your hands, and it's way nicer than you ever expected it to be.
Yeah, the AP 655. It's a pretty nice model. The tracks are great, but I got both versions with canopy,
Okay.
so it wasn't exactly the best. But I'll get one with the tracks on it, or without the canopy. I'm sorry,
Okay. Yeah.
but it's got the Versa matte style screed on it,
Okay.
which has the vibration unit in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But oh well, the new cat pavers are pretty ugly though.
I haven't seen them, to be honest.
They're up to the F series paver now.
Okay.
And also, they come out with a new one. I think it's like a AP like 200 or something like that. It's very, very small.
Oh yeah. That's
And that thing is flippin' ugly too, I will say.
okay. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. For
Yeah.
sure.
So you also have been in the trucking industry.
Yes, I have. Yep, I have now. I'm not trying to sound like because I mean I've literally I finished my trade in May, so I haven't really. I've only got about 3 months experience in this stuff. But once you're into it, it don't take long to see some things and learn some things real fast. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I drive truck mostly. I that's all I've done really. You do get a little bit of loader work and excavator work here and there, but mostly from in a 5 day cycle, I'm 90% of my time I'm driving truck.
I'm guessing you've heard of the Boston Trucker?
Yes, I have. I follow him.
We actually have had him on here before.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, he posts some really cool stuff.
Actually, Griffin Stover, he does his truck talk, which is really cool, actually.
Truck talk. Now that's interesting.
He's only done one episode because of the timing. He's not really available as much, but
Yeah, but that's understandable.
yeah, he actually has some big ambitions. He also likes to hang out with fire departments and stuff, which is cool. So,
Okay.
but yeah, he actually went up to a truck show and he got to meet Sal and Venny. He went up to the one truck
Uh,
show,
what's that? Is that
English Town.
English Town? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, he got to go there and meet Sal and Venny, which was awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
So it's good. Of course, he's really done a great job. He has some great plans for the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
So,
that's always good.
what kind of trucks have you driven?
Trucks. Let's see. I drive right now. I drive a '94 Western Star. It's actually old, but it used to be a tractor. They converted it into a tandem. All the trucks I've driven are on my Instagram underscore heavy hauler.
Oh,
All of them are there. The trucks I used to drive for the paving company were all T800 Kenworths.
I actually have not followed you yet, so
Oh yeah, there's a lot of. I'll follow you back, but yeah, there's. I'd use all the photos or stuff I see or stuff I do at work, or just photos from my old Alberta trips when I used to go out west. I went out 2 summers,
yeah.
and some ice road stuff that I had a real close friend email me and gave me all the rights to the photos, so I post some of those as well.
You actually have some really sick ass pictures on here.
Yeah, thanks, dude. That's one thing I do enjoy doing. I enjoy just the photography of the equipment and trucks.
Yeah, really. Most of the time I head out to get pictures and stuff. I sometimes like a quarter of the time I don't even come back with pictures because I just enjoy being in the environment of heavy equipment.
Well, I do too. I'm so glad I work around it. Like, if anybody, I couldn't recommend it to. Like, I couldn't like. How much trying to say this? You couldn't really. If you were interested in it, it's just as well to go do it because you'll enjoy going to work every day, like I do. Like, I really do enjoy. Like, every morning I go in and it's like it's not even a job. You just go and do it.
Yeah, exactly. My parents they wanted to be me to be something, like a doctor or something weird like that, and well, they got kind of pissed off at first. Was like, "You want to play with construction equipment?" I was like, "It's not playing, Mom. It's operating."
Yeah, you got to do what you love. That's
Exactly.
the thing I live by.
For my job shadowing thing a couple years ago, because we was required to do it,
Okay.
um, I was trying to get hooked up with a construction company. It didn't work out, but so I went with a family member who works in government, and it's just sitting in a cubicle all day, and I did not enjoy it. I was bored out of my mind.
Nah, I can't. I was actually I was all ready to go into OH&S, occupational health and safety,
Yeah,
and I worked at a car dealership last summer, and there was a lot of construction going on in the area, and you've got trucks driving by all day, you're smelling diesel fuel, and it's all you're seeing. And I was always loving that stuff anyway, and
yeah,
I just couldn't do it. I just called the school and said, nope, take me off the list. I don't want to do it. And in September, well, in September I went and applied, and then in November I was in operating equipment,
yeah.
and I'm glad I made that decision. Very glad.
It's better to do something you love and not get paid as much than doing something you hate but yet getting paid more because you'll be more productive doing
Definitely,
what you love, And I want to thank 3D Company because they actually let me pretty much operate equipment and all that sort of stuff on site, and I actually realized my dream, and it made me realize, this is what I'm here for.
definitely. Yeah, very much agreed on that.
So everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and like you said there then like for less money. There is money in it. You
Oh
just
yeah,
gotta, well, I almost want to say invest. You know, if there's not if like some, yes, it depends what industry you're in as well. Oil field, construction, logging, the works. It's all pays different. All of it does.
yeah,
But like definitely anybody who wants to really go far with it, they can. You start your own show, and usually it works because I mean there will always be stuff that'll have to go up, and always be trucks will have to move everything. The world revolves around this industry.
exactly because all the roadways you drive to get to your jobs, well, they didn't build themselves for Christ's sake.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
and
So it's
these guys are out here no matter what weather, hot or cold or whatever, and they're pouring everything they got into it.
yep, long days, long hard days, and people think, oh yeah, it's a boring, lazy job. It's not. It's very rewarding actually
Exactly.
because
There's a lot into it.
you drive on a road like even since I gotten into it now, I'll drive out somewhere and the places that we have paved. You're driving down the road and you're saying, I helped lay this road.
And that's why I say about the roundabout site. Every time I walk out, there is a like a folder underneath one of the sidewalk tiles that they put down
Okay.
that all the workers signed. Everybody from all the different companies that played a part into the construction, and
Yeah,
they let me sign my name on it too, which is really cool.
that is cool.
So then they poured the cement right on top of that, but still, it's always going to be there. So
Oh yeah, it's always gonna be there.
yeah, so until you get to the environment and you actually are there for a while, you actually start to really feel really what it's all about.
Yeah, you do.
And you realize that everybody has to work in a unison and work as a brotherhood in order to get the thing done on time. Yes, there's arguments, but at the same time, though,
Yeah, for the most part, you. When I worked with that paving company, they had a very they would be very specific on who they'd hire when it came to that stuff. When it came to their truck drivers, now their laborers were different and their asphalt crew was different and all that. But for the truck drivers, they usually would say, we want everyone to get along, and if there's nobody getting along, resolve it because we would have to be communicating all day long, and you can't have people not agreeing on things and being like that, right?
yeah, exactly. And
The group of guys I work with out there, I've never seen a team environment like that before in my life, and it was good. It was really good. The only reason I left that job is it was a bit too far away from home for me, right? And it was a bit expensive living out there, but
yeah,
you know, but it was a very good company, and the guys were good.
but I mean, still, like, but once all this stuff left around here, I was pretty much heartbroken because, I really grew to like everybody. Well, except for the foreman, because he was a little bit of a prick at times.
Yeah, my boss was the same way. He was the only one. Everybody else was great besides the owner of the whole company. He was a bit
It's
hard to deal with.
It's actually pretty funny because, like, at the beginning, he promised me that he'd let me run excavators and all that stuff, but when it came down to it, he didn't. And the workers were just waiting for him to go away, and then once he did, I could just do whatever I wanted.
Oh yeah.
Hell, I was on skid steer for 2 or 3 days straight,
Oh
moving riprap on the side of a hill,
yeah.
which I didn't destroy anything, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is good.
And then playing around with the backhoe, I remember one of my final tasks was moving a bunch of gravel into a lady's driveway, or replenishing her driveway supply with leftover gravel.
Okay.
And then the lady was, of course, some of the people that lived around there actually thought I worked for them for quite some time. And I remember this one lady, she kept coming up to me every day with some different issue, wanting me to fix it. I remembered, like, there was a little bit of asphalt that spilled off, which, is to be expected.
Oh yeah, it happens.
It especially happens with the shuttle buggy if you don't have, like, the box and the hopper. It'll
That
pour
yeah.
out it'll pour out the front a little bit.
Oh definitely. I've had times where like you'll have to have a spotter, and the spotter will be telling you to put your box up, and he might look away for a second, and he'll forget to tell you to stop when you got to stop, and then too much will come out and he'll heap over the sides a bit. That happens too.
Of course, for lack of a better comparison, operating a shuttle buggy is like taking a piss. You can't be accurate all the time.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah,
Really?
there's a million things going on. You got to be watching the truck, and you got to be steering to make sure everything's in line. And yeah, it's
Which
no joke.
visibility on a shuttle buggy is pretty difficult, anyways, because of
Very
the
much.
conveyor in the front and all.
Yeah,
That's why they have the ground operator.
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, of course. And then there's a little bit too much sand in her yard. She kept asking me questions about the sod. Every day she's like, "Okay, so when can I cut my sod?" And I would just say, like I said yesterday, you gotta wait a month before you can cut it so it can get rooted into the ground or else it will die.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they left the skid steer in her yard for lunch, and she goes, "Can you guys like move this?" As like, they're gone for lunch. They'll be back. Just
Yeah.
they'll be back in like half an hour. But they gave me my cat key anyways, finally, and I just moved it for her. And then while they was gone, I was actually getting a stockpile of dirt piled up so that because they was putting it down to fill some low spots where they was gonna put sod and all that.
Oh yeah.
So, and when they came back, they was actually kind of amazed that how much I could do in a short period of time. Of
Oh yeah.
course,
It's right on.
and they go, and I remember this one guy named Brad. He said, "I've never seen somebody so enthusiastic to play around with this stuff."
Yeah, I get that a lot too.
And then he just one of the funnest things I did though was actually he just set the backhoe in the middle of this old guy's property, and he just said, "Just tear it up and do what you want." So I just started digging holes, right?
Oh yeah.
I started tearing a bunch of brush and shit out, which is pretty fun if they just say go at it.
Yeah.
Course, about a week later, they got a letter from the guy saying that they needed to go fix it. They had to bring the 289 skid steer back, and the lowboy driver just left it. Mm, he left it near my house, and I got a phone call from the guy named Tim, who was the IT-28 operator. He just said, "You made the mess, so you gotta go fix it."
Yeah.
So this is probably about at this rate mid-June or so. So it was pretty hot,
Oh,
and the air conditioning was broken on that skid steer. That skid steer had everything wrong with it too.
I haven't gotten lucky yet. I had one truck that I've driven that had air conditioning. Everything else have not had air conditioning. I'm so glad it's starting to get a bit colder out because
Yeah,
it's hell to sit in the truck all day and just be that warm. You're almost melting.
but that skid steer, like somebody tried to steal it. The door broke off 4 times. They had to have Cat come out quite a few times and fix it. The air conditioning was fucked up. You got an email,
Yeah, I did. Yep.
and just all this weird shit that was happening with this brand new skid steer. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, well, it was still fun though to go back and just clean up all my messes. Of course, the property's for sale anyway, so I don't see why he'd want it fixed anyways if he doesn't want it. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
actually, I could see a way he wants the property to look nice,
Yeah, well, that
even
makes sense.
even though it is brush and weed anyway. They hasn't taken
Yeah,
care of in years.
yeah.
But but now it's on to the Great X site, and I learned that they don't exactly like people wandering around their site.
I've been shooed off. Well, not so much sites, but I went into yards before and had guys tell me, I've had an owner. I went in like I'd say, well, this must have been my second. I'd say I was like maybe 2 or 3 years into YouTube at that point, or maybe just only two. And I went into a paving yard and or company yard, and they were one of the bigger ones around here. So I was pumped to be in there and taking pictures and videos for like a good hour. And then all of a sudden, the owner came in and was like, "We don't want," because I asked permission in the office, and the guys were like, "Oh yeah, go ahead." And then the owner drove in about an hour later and was like, "No, we don't want you in here."
Oh well, I
So
actually went over the summer. I went to a little small scrapyard down the road,
okay,
and I just walked in and to the office. It's like, "What can we help you with?" What? And they speaking part Spanish in this too. What can we help you with? What part do you need? I was like, "Can I take a couple pictures real fast?" I go, "What?" Yeah, can I just take a picture of the construction machinery real fast? Because it was an IT-28G, the first generation one, the one without the G series back on it.
oh yeah,
The more square back, and then there is a case loader, a box tractor, and just some stuff like that.
okay,
And that wheel loader operator, he looked at me very, very funny, like.
yeah,
And I was hurt. I was glad to get out of there too, because I actually took the license plate off my car for
oh
that.
yeah,
And then I pulled into the trailer park across the street and put it back on. But that's
yeah.
typical. That's typical.
It is typical. A lot of guys. Well, I mean, see, in the industry, you're dealing with a lot of older fellows that they YouTube was there was no such thing
There's
growing
barely
up. Right?
there's barely
So
such thing as an internet.
yeah, exactly, and even computers. So this is all like, why the hell do you want to? Why do you want to do that? And they don't understand.
Yeah, some people.
Some guys do and some guys don't, but you'll come across people that will be very weirded out by the whole equipment, filming, photography, and even the models. Like I've gone into equipment dealers, and I'm 19, and I'll go in and look at a diecast, and they're like, "Those things are toys." I'm like, "No, no, they're not. It's a hobby. Trust me. There's a lot of people into it."
Yeah,
You know.
that's just like building a Civil War battlefield, a little model of it. It's the same
Yeah.
difference. You got guys in their 60s doing that,
People love it.
and
People
then
got their own hobbies.
you
You
got
know.
Kevin in his 30s playing with Legos.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
Kev.
but like, who cares? It's what interests you, and that's it.
Yeah, it's
Like I wouldn't give these models up for the world. Like I haven't been making videos, but I haven't stopped collecting, and they're all in my bedroom. Every one of them. They're up on my ledge and on my desk. They're everywhere.
yeah.
And I went and bought two. Well, right before I left with that paving company, we got rained out, and I went to a cat dealer, and I seen a D7E, and I always wanted that model in the back of my mind, and I seen it there, so I picked that up,
I actually have been
and
trying to get one.
I'm very impressed with it, like beyond impressed.
It's really that
To
good.
be honest, I always kind of liked the look of it, but once I got it in my hands, they did a very nice job on that. A lot of people did have their small complaints, yes, but when it's sitting on a low boy or the tracks, I've never seen tracks roll so smooth in my life. Excellent. I have no complaints with it at all.
Actually, I've been really thinking about getting one, but
The only thing I'm going to take off, I think, is that GPS pod on the front. But other than that, I'm very pleased with the model.
I've learned one little cheat though with Norscot GPS. If you take them off really carefully, since they're fastened on with glue,
Yeah,
if you're careful about it, or at least this is how it is on the D6T. If you're
yeah,
careful enough about it, you can reattach it at any time. So like I have GPS on it sometimes, sometimes I don't.
that's probably what I'll do. Yeah, I'll probably take it off and be careful with it. So, as if I ever want it for a certain, just to put it back on, just for the look.
Yeah.
And then I also went to the Volvo dealer, and I was kind of looking to get something new, but this actually caught my eye, and it was something I wanted years ago when I first got into collecting. And it was, and I've been looking for a small wheel loader, and it was they had a Volvo, they had the L60E there with the attachments, and it
Uh-huh.
was like right in the back of the pile, and I said I'm actually gonna buy that right now because just to say I did because they had it marked down and everything. They were trying to get rid of it because no one goes into that dealer and buys models. So it sat there for quite a while, and I said, "Well, I'll take it off your hands because I always kind of wanted it."
Actually, the only Volvo model that has really got me interested was the ECR 235.
That thing, I would give a lot to have one of those.
Now,
I love
one guy, I'm not going to say his name, he sold off his entire collection and spent double what a CCM 249 costs for one.
Oh
Double.
yeah, I can't imagine how much those things must cost right now.
This guy bought it for like $450, I think.
That sounds about right. Now they did sell for roughly 100 when they were
Eight,
on like when they were retailed.
86.
Were they okay? Yeah. And it's not a big excavator. It's only a little 235, right?
Yeah.
But I did really really like the model a lot. And those zero tail swings are, well, besides for the Liebherr ones you can get now, they're pretty much non-existent. You can get a few like well, what else is there anyway? There's the Liebherr ones.
Yeah, but those really don't have the look. Those are more European style. They don't have
No.
the curved cab and all that.
Yeah, it's not the same. I always wanted First Gear or Universal Hobbies to release a PC 228. I really wanted them to do that.
There is one, but it's a 143rd.
It's Yeah, it's older too.
My
I
friend
remember I remember seeing that.
my friend Nico, Bobcat 1 Deer 2 Cat 3, he has one. He also has a Great All.
Okay.
And I actually got to see
One
it.
four three.
I actually got to see a Komatsu PC 228.
I don't see many of them, but I always thought it was a nice machine. And I would have liked to seen a model of it, or one of the cat ones. That would have been cool too.
I would love to see one of the brand new 225Fs or 335 FLCRs made.
Yeah,
Me and Sal, we both agreed on that one that we'd love to see one. And a lot of people would too, really. We need a zero tail, to be honest.
we needed an American equipment manufacturer. You know, like something you see over here. We need a zero tail made. You know,
Exactly. I would love
like
to.
a cat, or well, Komatsu's not really, but you do see a lot of Komatsu over here.
Yeah, I
So
don't. I don't really see that much Komatsu, but it's mainly cat. Of course, I do live
here,
about 100 miles from the cat world headquarters, but
well, yeah, you probably will then.
roughly,
Yeah, we
I've actually been there before in the area. Peoria is about 108 miles away, which isn't that far.
no, not at all. I drive that. I got to drive that as a round trip to work every day. I do 5 trips a day, hauling from our home base out to our job. It's about that every day, so we do about 5 trips.
Yes.
So
So
yeah, it's not too far.
yeah, it's only about hour and a half really on the interstate.
Yeah, anywhere between there. Yeah,
And that's based on like average speed of like 80, 85 miles an hour too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But I'd love to have a Gradle. I've only seen one in my lifetime, which is
I never did. I have not seen a great all before.
they are really weird. I'm talking about like one of the truck mounted excavators too.
Oh yeah, yeah, one of those. Now I might have now okay. This I might have seen one at West Guinea Yard when I went out to Alberta because I've seen a lot of old stuff out there. But I seen that much stuff I can't even remember, and it has been 2 years since I've been out there, which is it's a shame. But I haven't had the chance to fly back out there. No, I've just been busy as well.
Yeah, he's if you all know Western Star, uh, I think it's like 8700 or something like that.
4900 SA.
Well, I knew there was numbers in there and it had 100 in it somewhere, so
Oh yeah, yeah. He's still the channel's still there. His videos are all still there. You know, and he's working with the heavy haul company now. Um, I must say the stuff he does is extremely cool. Like if he was still into YouTube, he would be one of the more popular guys because everyone would want to see the stuff he's got because it's just massive. Like he's dealing with cranes and dealing with these massive oil field loads all the time, right?
yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Now I'm looking and I searched up 150 scale Gradle and it comes up with this little Virgin. That's how I guess it's supposed to be said. Of course, Diecast Emporium likes to correct people on that one, which he's really a good guy. He really is. He's one of the smarter people out there, and he has some of the best damn reviews on YouTube too.
Right
It's
on.
people just go Virgin or Virgin, one of the two. People just say Wirt.
Working.
Yeah,
That's how I always said it. But then I watched Cranes, etc., and he calls it like I can't even remember now exactly how he says it, but it's
it's like
different.
Wirkin.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that.
Yeah,
It's like
but
weird.
this one's like the smallest little profiler I've ever seen. It's like the steering wheel is like half the size of the engine compartment area. For Christ's sake, it's like a little 35. It's really weird, but I would never buy it. It's like for
No.
profiling driveways.
Yeah, no, it's not. I
Garrett's
don't usually buy anything small
yeah. Now skid
as much
steers
as it's cool
maybe.
to have.
Skid
Yeah,
steers.
that's one thing I have never owned, and I really wish I could. I don't know. I don't know why I've never bothered to buy one. I would love to have. Now, this is the question I have. Those Sword Ford F-250s. What is the word on those right now? Are they out, or
No,
what's going on with those? No, not yet.
they say next summer, which they've said for the past 2 or 3
Wow,
summers.
that's crazy. I thought this was going to be like a any month soon type thing
Oh,
because I've
it
heard
was
a
for
lot.
it was for quite a period of time. Like it should be out here within the next month or so, but that fell through.
Yeah,
They're focusing on really too much. We have not seen a sword model since TWH collapsed in 2013.
haven't seen nothing. No, we've only heard announcements on the Beam trailers and those pickups, as far as I know.
And then there's all this weird stuff about WSI, which we actually have an insider informant tell us about it.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the story or not.
About
WS
style.
about WSI, it goes deeper than that. You know, the whole South thing actually opened up the doorway for what we learned about it.
Oh yeah. I only heard so far as the style thing. I haven't heard anything beyond that.
Okay,
But all I
so Sal
okay, go.
on his Facebook, he posted the pictures of the email about all the model about the leaking or all that. Because
Yes,
Sal and Vinny helped WSI out produce a model in the Bay Crane library,
that would have
and
been cool to see too.
and then people apparently were messaging WSI or whatever about it, and Sal and Vinny were to blame about leaking the information, which they didn't. Um, Actually, somebody within Model News covered the story. I don't know who posted it, but someone posted the pictures. We got a message from the guy asking if we could delete the pictures.
Wow.
He found us out, and he told us the story. Of course, he did say that if we said his name ever again, that he would sue us, but which is a little bit to the extreme.
Yeah, that's a bit much. I not going to get into it because I'm not 100% sure. I've never been involved in that before, but yeah, that's a bit extreme.
But he has told us other information, which comes up to the Tonkin stuff, which I'll get to. But apparently, there was a hostile takeover with WSI via the Chinese, and that they pretty much drove the thing downhill, which kind of explains why we
That's
haven't seen many WSI releases in the last little bit.
not really. No.
So the former owners of WSI went on to create Tonkin of Europe,
Yes, that's right. They do have their thing going over there.
and so Tonkin of Europe is pretty much the former WSI, and they were put in charge of the Caterpillar stuff, which I can see
Which
what
was
they were actually respectable models.
the Tonkin Cat stuff. I have yet to own one or see one or even touch, like, even have one in person. But I am very itching. Like, I'm thinking, because where I'm working now, I just bought a pickup last month and stuff. I have bills, but I'm aiming to go with at least one or two models a month, depending on the price of it. Right? If it's something high quality, it'll only be one. If not, it'll be two or three. Who knows? Right?
Yeah,
But
but
I'm really hoping to pick up one of those very soon.
the loaders they're nice. The log loader's pretty nice. I don't have it, but I hear it's pretty nice. I have the road builder. Actually, I have two
Oh,
of them. One of them is still in the box. The other one, the tracks were awful, but
oh yeah,
they Tonkin has had their quality control issues.
yeah,
The D6R, it is an Asian market machine, but it is a nice dozer. The only thing I gotta say about it is the ripper. It sticks out too far in my opinion, but that's no big deal.
yeah. But
This
yeah, I'd probably take it off anyway. I don't
this
know.
yeah, the skidder it never came out. That's gonna be a Diecast Masters release.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So we was right in the middle of the logging line. We was expecting something like in the terms of more earth moving next, or we was expecting to see the excavator line, considering the fact that the 340D and the log loader, or not the log loader, the road builder were released. So we was expecting to see an excavator line,
Yeah.
which a lot of people had their hopes up for an F series
Yeah,
excavator.
exactly. Yeah, that would have been nice to see.
Course, which leads us to the 390F by Northscott. It was on 3,000 toys as pre-order for so long, and now it's not even on there.
No.
No, and
Well, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
and actually there was even rumors that Northscott had canceled it. Of course,
Really?
they also canceled a couple underground mining models, which some people would have bought.
Yeah, I seen those. Yeah.
They announced them sometime in the spring and summer at one of those shows, but then, sure enough, about a week later they were canceled. And then we
Wow.
get this 914 wheel loader. A 914, which isn't that big of a loader.
Not at all. No.
Guess the price that they is wanting for it.
Oh, I could guarantee it's anywhere. It's either in the neighborhood of 100 or more,
It isn't about 60 and
or
70
roughly.
range. It costs the
What's
same
that?
amount. It costs the same amount of money as a 926M and a 930 or 938K,
Wow.
which those are.
And that would literally be like, I'm thinking the same size as those. Remember those motor L30s? Do you remember those? The
Yeah.
L35? It must be somewhere, maybe a little bigger, who knows, but it must be somewhere within that size range. I'm not sure. I don't pay much attention to the small loader line, but
But the Tonka 972,
can't.
that was up for about 70, and that's a substantially bigger loader.
That's true. Yeah, that is a decent price for a big loader like that. I mean, that's a step down from a 980, and that's only $70, and it does look very good. I've
Actually,
never seen one, like I said.
the 980G is for $50 on 3000 toys.
Now the 980K is like 100,
Yeah, and it's not really. It's
and
just
the
it's
982.
too close.
The only reason why I want one of those 980Ks because the paving company I work for, I had five of them, and
Jeez.
yeah, he bought five all at the same time, and I mean, all of them were running. That was the size of the paving company we had, so I really would have seen one, or get one in person, the model at least, anyway.
Actually, Norska advertised the 914 as a 1/32nd scale model at first, and then they came back and said no, it's going to be a 1/50th scale.
Well, then.
So they don't have their priorities straight. None of these new models that they were talking about earlier this year, which they weren't that great anyways, let's be honest.
No.
None of it followed suit, and look at the position they're in now. They just have Bobcat to fall back on.
Yeah. Uh, Honestly, that 390 is a model I could never see myself buying.
And it was going for close to.
Simply because I own the 390D from CCM. That's probably
Same.
the only reason why, though.
Same. But I'm gonna put it this way though, in Frank, they wanted about $150, $160 for it.
That's probably what they'd ask, yeah. Pretty that high.
And
And
they're
you're not going to get nothing as close to, you're going to get your standard Norscot, right?
yeah, just a solid casted model with probably terrible tracks. The hydraulic lines will probably fall off in a little bit. The rivets will probably pull out of the drive sprockets.
Like, I don't know, sometimes, like I said, Norscot, sometimes you'll get it and you'll love it, and the other one, you'll get another one and it won't be not even close to the same quality as the other one you have. It's such a hit or miss with them, I always find.
Let's put it this way: I got a 420E backhoe, and guess what? The backhoe linkage was upside down. So now we got some curling issues. I knew that was wrong from the beginning because I've actually had one before.
Yeah.
It actually took me looking a second time to realize the backhoe linkage was upside down. And there's no way to really fix it without breaking the dog bone or messing up the quick coupler a little bit.
Yeah, when you're dealing with stuff that small, it's
Difficult.
very easy to break something. And once you
Yeah.
break that kind of stuff, it's not easy to replace it or fix it. Like, usually, I'm terrified that I was always terrified of custom. Like, that's why out of all the years I've been into models, I would never customize a model because I'd be
Same.
so afraid I would
Same.
break something or ruin something.
But look at the backlash people that do make customs, not to a higher extent. Look at all the backlash that they get.
Oh, exactly.
There's always going to be that fear factor. What if I do something wrong and people make fun of me,
Well, that was another reason. Not even saying that just because you just said it. It's actually that was a huge reason. I'd always be afraid. Well, what if I make this? It looks stupid. I ruined a perfect good model I spent probably a decent amount of money on, and well, now people are going to make fun of me for it. So
Yeah.
I just didn't bother. I instead of going custom, I just decided to buy expensive and higher quality models and turn my collection into that. And I'm glad I went that way. But I would like to now. I see people who make custom models and who are successful with it, and I'm like, how can I get me one of those? Right? Because a lot of this stuff is really really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
like I said, a lot of people they customize just because, they want to see a model that they know that will probably never be produced. That's why
exactly.
that's why there's so many zero tail or 321s or 320 DLRRs and all that stuff.
There are those deers. See a lot of deers
Oh
too.
yeah, a lot of people they think a zero tail is just cutting a little section of the engine area out and gluing the counterweight to the back,
Yeah, you do see a lot of that.
which I talked about in the last K Cup of Joe. This one kid, he said, you may think that this is a 320 or a 315 or a 330. There's a big difference there. There's a
Huge
really big
difference.
difference because no, it's a 320C LU. U.
Yes.
I'll have to tell you who it is after this so you can see it. But
Okay.
there's a big difference between a 320C and a 330. Big time.
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty significant difference.
And especially with a 320 CLU, there's a really big difference.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
really, a lot. Cat's really replacing a lot of machinery that's been out for quite some time, like the 328 and like the 321. They're both replaced now.
Yes.
The 335 just slips in. We're getting about a 35, 36 ton zero tail
Yeah.
with a blade that, which is optional, of course, but it looks kind of ugly with a blade.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we got the 325F. They don't even have the CR on it.
No.
They're reviving an old 325 series, but yeah, at the same time replacing the old 321s.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if you ever seen a 321 BL CR.
321 BLCR.
It looks pretty weird, I will say.
I probably have because here there's a lot of weird equipment here on the island, and you do. And I'd say I've seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just seen a while back there is such thing as a Cat 321 BLCR.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you can dream it, Cat probably has made it.
Yeah, pretty much. I know one of the guys. One of my like two good friends I had here in town. Their father is. He is very. I can't remember his position name now, but he's a very high up cat dealer here on the, or one of the two cat dealers here on the island, and I get a lot of insight from him. And cat is
Yeah.
they are the biggest and best for sure.
Yeah, there's a
But it
lot.
seems like.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay. No, like I said, there's we were talking earlier about Komatsu. You guys don't see much of it, but it seems like the past year, Komatsu's taken right over here. Everyone's buying new Komatsu. Everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But, Komatsu, they have good stuff. They're number 2 worldwide.
Well, that would make sense.
Just
You know, basically here, if it's not cat Komatsu or deer, small amount of Hitachi. That's usually all you see here.
yeah. Of course, there's a lot of Hitachi fans out there. Most of them because of the show Gold Rush.
Bandwagoners.
Yeah, exactly. They see a Hitachi 400. Look what happened to the Ertl 450s. They have a high demand even still today.
Oh, very much so.
Of course, there are a lot of places that have 450s. It's just that they're not allowed to sell them.
Yeah,
Is a dispute between Ertl and Hitachi just said, no, you're not supposed to sell them.
yeah, pretty much.
That's the story we heard from actual dealers. So,
Okay.
of course, if we didn't have credible information, we wouldn't say it. If the source is not credible, we don't say it.
Yeah.
So we've heard a lot of weird shit. We've heard even, Lee Bear's going out of business. That's not credible. They're one of the
How is that close, man? They're huge.
Yeah, exactly. They're one of the biggest in Europe.
They
That
very much, yeah, they are one of the biggest in Europe,
I mean,
and I'm gonna give them credit where credit is due. You see a lot of Liebherr models, and of course they are always made by Conrad and NZG, so they're always of higher quality and higher price.
yeah.
But there's a company around here that owns a 916, and they also own a 944, and I have a video on my YouTube channel of the 944 working. It was from a few years ago, loading a rock truck, and I was very impressed with the equipment. Very impressed with it. And it was, you don't see it very much over here. Very little. But I
Yeah.
was impressed with Lee Bear. I have nothing bad to say about Lee Bear.
Wow, this is a little bit tough.
What's that?
Um, so I'm looking at something that Joe, one of the heads of the show, of the Model News group, I should say, he's had a little bit of a rivalry with somebody in the community, which isn't like him. And he sent a photo, and I was just reading what it says.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry about that. I can't really multitask. I don't read and talk at the same time, which is one of the weakest points. But
Oh, no worries. I just tried to look up that 321B LCR like you were telling me about, and I just had to make sure I seen it. And yeah, it is different looking.
I'm trying to get the 325C, the NZG. Be-
Oh, the C? Yeah, I got the B.
I do too.
I bought the B, and I bought 3K since my last YouTube video was unboxing of the D250E. And since then, I've bought the 325 BL, and I've also bought the 988F. And I was all the years I was always so against NZG. Like, oh, what's so special about them? They're just plain and no detail and solid and old. I love them. Ever since I bought the D250, I've bought two more, and ever since I've loved NZG cat models.
Yeah, and actually, we had a question earlier to Sal asking, what's his favorite brand of models, old or new, and he said straight up NGG, without a
Mine
doubt.
is I can't really argue with them. I really do love the old NZG cat, and you get it in your hands, and sure, you look at it, and it's like, well, you can tell it's not new, and but just the style of equipment back then was just so much cooler.
Yeah, I mean, I got the
So
325L, which it isn't as nice as the 325B, because the spacing is really weird on it.
okay,
Like the cat logo underneath the cab, it's way too small. The 325 logo is spaced out too far. The cat logo on the boom should be moved towards the stick a little bit more, but it's still a nice model. I mean, I got a 245 1980s model, and on the bottom it does say made in West Germany, so it's in Soviet era,
that's true too.
and they're holding up
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. I got on some of this. I'm holding up the 325B, and it says on the bottom 1992, and then under it says 1996. I'm not 100% sure why. It
Uh,
says two dates.
1992 is when the casting was made,
Okay,
so that's it's pretty much it shares a casting
with
with
the
the
L,
yeah,
or would
just
it be?
the cab is the only real major difference.
Yeah.
But and then 1996, you said?
Yep.
That's when the model itself was made, because my 325L on the bottom it does say 1992.
So this model is exactly as old as I am. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's older than me, so.
Yep. That's it's
But
it's cool though. Like that's
yeah,
what I like about SG models is, I mean,
and
when
they
you
were
look back, like they almost got better functionality than some things that you see here today, and better build quality almost. It's just
yeah,
the only thing they lack is the detail, and I mean, I don't even care about that sometimes.
the rubber link tracks though are some of the best tracks out yet.
They are extremely nice tracks. And from back then, that was even a step up. I take the rubber tracks over these over the metal Ertl tracks
Oh yeah, big time.
because those things are just there's way too many links on those Ertl tracks. They just sag down like almost an inch, and it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I have the 850K, and that's the case there.
Yes,
It's a nice dozer, but and one thing is, I
that
think
is
that
nice.
I think the track links are way too wide, and it just looks awful from the back view.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen the model in person. I was debating buying it. I had it in my hands, and I was kind of like, nah, I'll just pass on that one. Now, I don't really the Ertl model. There's one Ertl model in my collection right now, and that's what I was saying earlier. Is the 2954D processor there, and that thing is pretty much limbed because I've had it since I started collecting a long time ago.
Yeah,
And I've after taking it right apart because I've after pondering the idea of making a different kind of forestry machine and everything is just loose on it and beat up and stuff. But other than that, I had a 200D and I had the 450D,
yeah,
and
I have the Hitachi 450, so
I always wanted one of those, but I never bothered to buy it.
the
And
four the 470 is actually, since the
not
450 series was canceled and replaced by the 470, the 470 by TMC is a nice model.
I do have that. Yeah, that is a really nice model. I put that one. That one I put that one on my low bed because I don't know, it just looks good on there.
Yeah, and the functionality of it is amazing. How the bucket curl is perfect.
That is by far the most detailed model that I've owned to date because of just the hydraulic detail on it is
Amazing. It has the hydraulics
it's
protectors and all that.
it is 100% accuracy on that.
Yeah.
There's nothing they left out there. There can't be.
You know
It's
what's
that it's in depth, in detail.
like the company Replicars, they turned into the merchandise company, which is actually Hitachi themselves. Hitachi actually bought them
Yes.
after the falling out with Ertl. But and then you got the Ertl 470, which there's not much to say that it's an Ertl, so
The only reason I would buy that is because again, I've worked around a few of them before, and when you're around, that's what gives me. I remember Sal used to say it too, and it gives you an incentive when you see a piece of equipment, or you worked around it, or even operated it, or driven it. It gives you incentive. You want to own the model or something very close to it because it's just cool. Then, right?
that's
There's
why
a certain to it.
that's why I tried so hard for the shuttle buggy. I said that I called multiple times to try to get it.
Yeah,
If I couldn't get call once on a normal model, if I called once and couldn't get it, that'd be the end of it. But
yeah.
there's only one real place to get it for an acceptable price. You see these things going for $300+ on eBay.
I know it's crazy. That's why I've seen them on eBay, and I once I seen that, I mean, I was turned. I was like, I'm not spending that much for a shuttle buggy that doesn't really have that much functionality to it or detail.
But it is a
So,
lot bigger than you would think. It actually is.
yeah, that's true. I haven't seen it in person per se, so I can't really give you. But I know it obviously got to be big because shuttle buggies aren't the smallest pieces of equipment out there.
Oh
So
no, not by a long
no,
shot. I mean, you have the AP 655, as you said earlier, and pretty much the hopper, or not the hopper, the conveyor on the back. You actually
yeah.
need the box that comes with it to make it look more accurate. The hopper box.
Oh, it comes with it, does it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's great because I was just about to say I'd probably have to make one, but that's cool.
Yeah, it does actually come with one. So
That's excellent.
die cast metal too, and then it's a flat black.
That's great because that's a big part of it. Just have one of those.
Yeah, even though the front hop or the asphalt intake and front hopper and all that are quote unquote plastic, it
Yeah,
is. It's still nice. I mean, all the what's supposed to be rubber on it is rubber, and they actually get the thickness quite right.
yeah,
Like it on the road tech on the rubber piece on the back conveyor, it's a very heavy, thick rubber.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be though because the asphalt eats it right up.
Yeah.
Now you can get a RP 190 for $39 on eBay from Hong Kong though. Shipping's gonna
Yeah,
kill you.
that's where I got mine came from. Mine was I was very impressed actually with the price on that.
Now here's something I
I
find
had mine.
interesting. We were talking about the Great All and the Lee Bear,
Yes.
Zero Tail. Well, there's actually Rotec painted. So there's custom, quote unquote, Rotec painted excavators.
Really?
Yeah, for 150 bucks.
But what? But that doesn't make sense,
Exactly,
or at
because
least it doesn't to me.
Rotec is a flipping paving equipment manufacturer, not a excavation.
Strictly only paving. Like you see shuttle buggies, pavers,
And
and
cold planters.
and cold yes, and cold planners, and that is it.
And re- road reclaimers, yeah. And
Yes, yeah,
stabilizers. So
yes, they do make those as well. Yeah,
they're pretty much the
we own
same.
the RX 900, I believe. The one that Norscott made, that Road Tech milling machine,
That's that's a
the
700.
RX 700. The In our office they had that model there, and I looked at it in person, and it is not bad. I was kind of pondering buying it because
I
it's only is it $80 I think on eBay in that Hong Kong from the Hong Kong dealer, whoever that is that's selling those.
But if you get from the place that I talked to you about before, they're $50 per model.
That's crazy. Now I have seen they're selling them in packages too. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Huh?
I've seen them on eBay go like they'll sell the paver and the milling machine for like a pretty decent price.
Actually, I remember this one guy in the DHS forums. He bought his from the place I told you about earlier for 50 bucks. But the
Yeah.
thing is, he sold them. He's trying to sell them off in all the groups on Facebook for $150 each.
Oh yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is, yeah, because they're being sold. You can buy them so cheap.
Yeah.
If I, just if I know anybody would do this, if I bought a model for say such a price, and I went back one day and I seen I could buy the same model for like way cheaper. I mean, wouldn't you be very pissed off that you spent all that money and you could have bought it for cheaper?
Yeah.
You
Now,
know, like,
one thing is, when I got my shuttle buggy, it had the Roadtech shipping carton on it, and it's a massive box too. Like the UPS guy, you know how they can usually like carry it with like one hand? Like if it's a model that's not really that big of a box.
yeah,
Let's put it this way, you could fit probably 3 or 4 Xbox Ones in this thing.
wow,
It realistically, the Xbox One is actually quite a bit bigger than the predecessor to 360.
yeah,
So it's a pretty decent sized console. And inside that, when you crack open the tape or open the lid, it smells like asphalt. It's
oh
so
yeah,
weird that it smells like asphalt. And then you just get a shit ton of packing paper, literally just that brown paper.
yeah.
And then you finally get this. Then you finally get the shuttle buggy box. Finally, after the maze of paper, and it's just a nice model, and it's bigger than you'd expect. It's actually, I'm trying to think of how to compare it to. You have the first gear Matt Granite, right?
Yes.
It's a good match, but the Matt Granite's probably about as long as the main body of the shuttle buggy.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to compare it with a 325. Like with the arms fully extended on the 325, from like where the counterweight is matched up evenly, it comes about to where the with the arm completely stretched out to the where the pendant lines meet up on it on the conveyor.
Okay, right on.
So it's a
I gotcha.
it's a decent size. One thing is though, the hydraulic lines on the shuttle buggy are very fragile,
Yeah,
just like any first gear model. But it is a lot very detailed.
yeah.
So
It's. I was always a fan of first gear. I never had any complaints with first gear at all.
all the complaints of course, first gear does produce quality Komatsu models. All the complaints for Komatsu models come towards Universal Hobbies end of the deal
They did, yeah.
because Universal Hobbies is more plastic than metal.
Very much so. Now, the new 210 and the new 490, those are two models that I like the look of. I really do. And I do like, I really would like to have both of them, but I'm not sure yet. Not completely sold on them yet.
Of course, if I were to get a Universal Hobby model, it'd probably be the PC-88.
That was a cool one. That was, I'd say you can still get those.
Yeah, actually, it seems like everybody's coming out with re-releases of their older stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I've noticed that. Well,
Norris got over the summer. They re-released the rental flatbed truck with the 420. I'm sure you've had that one.
I have had that model, that old, was it the red T2000?
Yep, and then it came with the backhoe on the back.
I was given that for must have been Christmas one year. I'd say I must have been 9, 8, 9 maybe,
I will put
and that's how long I've had that model. And yeah, I still do have the truck somewhere. Remember, I for my older video I had a parts bin, and that's still upstairs in my old model room. It's
yeah.
still up there with all the old models I've had given to me over the years, and I tore them apart or whatever, and took them apart for parts and stuff because they were too beat up to display. So I just put them in a parts bin and left them at that.
Of course, I was going through a bunch of old stuff, and I found my old 924 bucket, and it fits perfectly onto that 420.
That's the oldest model I have down here on my display. Is the 924G with the forks,
Yeah.
and I've had that for years and years and years, and it's been everywhere. It's been in the sandbox. It's been everywhere because it was given to me when I was really young, and I don't know where the bucket is, and I don't know where that
Material handling arm
little
thing.
yeah, the little boom.
Of course,
I
nobody
wouldn't
cared
know.
about the boom.
Nobody did care about that because I mean I don't know.
You don't see
It was
them.
almost before. It was almost before. Well, it was way before sword chains came out. So it's not like you could do anything with it back then.
Well, unless you
You
got a
know,
really
now
small thread.
that too. Yeah. So nobody really cared about that. So I just left the forks on it, and that's all I got there now. The one of the front headlights are missing off it. The fender is what I think. No, the top part of the cab. One of the corners on the back is bent down because I dropped it one time. But it's still sitting there.
Really, the only
Just
reason.
because. Well, go ahead.
Go for it. You already.
I can't even remember what I was going to say. It's because it don't have any scratches on it. So,
Yeah.
that's the only reason why I got it kept there. And I really wanted a small wheel loader before I found that L60 there a few weeks ago. I really wanted a smaller wheel loader in my collection because I only got a 988F and that Liebherr L576 that Conrad made. That's the two. That's the only wheel loaders I got in my collection right now. Besides for the smaller ones now.
Really, the IT28 that they had here at the roundabout. The 924 is the closest thing, and really, you don't get models with couplers and or at least wheel loader models with couplers and forks and all that.
No, you don't, and that's one thing. It's really good to have. That's why I bought the L60 over the new. Um, was it the H series motor or Volvo got out now, or is it still the G for those L90s and L60s?
I think it's the G still. I'm not sure.
Still the G. I know because they were there, right? And I looked at them, and I mean, yeah, they're great. They're great because they got the opening engine compartment and all that stuff. But the L60 had, the bucket, the little material handler, and the forks, and that sold me. I said, I really want a loader with a quick coupler, and I think that's where uh, did Conrad? Who was it? made that Komatsu 380 last year before? Was it
Um,
No, it was NCG. NCG made it.
yeah, Conrad hasn't had a Komatsu license in quite some time.
No, that's right. I forgot about it. Yeah, it was NZG. And I think that's where they went wrong with that one. They should have probably. I'm not sure they saw it. Like I know it's like I run the company I work for now. We got a four. No, we got a 380 or a 370.
Really, I think Norscott, one thing that they should have done was put the 924 in their core classic series.
Yeah, I think so.
Because, I mean, a lot of people want that model. There was a high demand for that model, too, a couple years ago.
It was one of their better built like their older models. That was probably one of their better ones.
Like I said, the reason I wanted to get it was because of the IT28G, and that was the closest thing, too.
And it does have that material. It does have that tool carrier boom on it. It's not the your regular loader boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got that.
And I will say this, though. I've had the 930 and the 938K, both of them. I'm going to put it this way.
I wanted one of those.
Huh?
I said I wanted one of those because
Re-
the school that we had trained on, they had the 924K, so it would have been cool to see.
really and actually there is a 930 at the Great X site as we speak, but really the 930, I went to do a review of both of them since they are the same model. Really,
Yeah,
just in all honesty, just a different decal.
pretty much. Yeah.
I went to pick one up off my shelf and it literally fell apart in half.
Well,
I just said this piece of shit,
yeah.
and I had to glue it together and wait and for the glue to dry and all that, and then really, the 924, I'd rather have that over the 930 and 938. No contest, really.
No.
Of course, it's a thing where Northsky's trying to keep up with all the big manufacturers, or at least they were trying to before the what
Before
happened.
that, before that happened, yeah.
You know, they couldn't really keep up without, sacrificing their build quality, which was what they had in the early 2000s.
That they did, yeah.
I mean,
And
what
even when they just like what year was whatever year the D7E came out.
2008, they introduced the D78 Con Expo 2008, and they were already selling models of that.
I this is by far one of the better Norscot models that I have. I can't express enough how just plain nice it is. And I don't know if it's just because I haven't been buying many models, and I don't know, call me old fashioned. I guess I don't know because it's not new by no means, but I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah, same here. I'm curious to get the 627Ks in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The two scrapers. I got two of them. I didn't want to get a third. Actually,
yeah.
actually, I plan on getting a third because I always see scrapers in threes around here. I don't know if you see scrapers
So
up there, but
we everywhere else in Canada you'll see scrapers, but you won't see them where I'm from because all in Newfoundland they call it a rock. It's the most eastern point of North America, so
yeah,
yeah, we don't see them here. We don't. The ground here is basically we got to blast a lot.
yeah, which is actually
You got that layer of soil and mud, yes, but when you get down there, it's rock,
which is pretty
and
much
there's
like
no
the
earth.
which is pretty much like the East Coast, which is why a lot of people from the East Coast like to see scraper pictures. And I actually did a live walk around with a guy named Li Trucks.
Okay, yeah.
Of course, to mess with them, we call them Little or Lil Trucks, Lil, but it's Long Island Trucks.
Okay.
I did a live walk around with him and showed him all the controls on that on a scraper because he's never
Hmm.
seen one before.
I haven't either personally, and even when I was out west, I oh yeah, no, I have seen them. Yes, we've driven by them when I was out west a few times out in Alberta, but I've never been up close to one or anything like that.
Oh, over in digging, ditching, and bitching country.
Those guys, Alex and Jason, uh,
Of course,
they've seen a lot.
Yeah, and of course, then there was the little war between them and Pushy Six for a while, but
That was entertaining. I watched a bit of that. That was a bit entertaining because
that war,
I give it to those guys. I would never ever want to get into a fight with Alex and Jason because,
they got
for
their
one,
they got their
Alex.
legions.
Yeah, but Alex Burnett, he's there's just no winning with that guy. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good. I don't know. He has a way with words.
Yeah, of course, then they had the Ginger Santa Claus. The only reason I call him this because I don't remember what his name was.
There's no limits with those guys at all.
So today we have these lifty thingies. I'm pretty sure they go up and down,
Their
and
walk arounds are priceless.
then this silver thingy goes into this jacket thingy via a liquid thingy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's a brief summary right there.
That is maybe. Do you? I don't know if you recall. Me and Nigel tried that with an old loader out in BC. It's
Did,
on my YouTube channel. It's called the best walk around you'll ever see, and it's quite lengthy actually. But we went through it almost comparing the real machine to like a model,
yeah.
and we got pretty carried away that evening.
A-
It's funny. It's pretty funny. But we were doing the same idea.
Actually, I wanted to play a little joke earlier this year. I was like going to do a walk around of my bike, and then I
Yeah.
and then I seen a walk around of a 420 DIT, and it turns out that somebody already did it. It's like, okay, so today we got to walk around of this bike. It's got two wheels, it's got a chain, handlebars, and then, oh shit, what's this? Oh, it's a 420 DIT. It's like, god damn it! So I'm trying to come up with something entertaining that
Yeah.
hasn't been done before. Which I mean, I think I'm trying to be as entertaining as possible on these shows. Which is why, like on
Well,
say
that's
that,
another thing.
yeah, like on the Cake Up a Joe, half the time I act pretty stupid just because.
Yeah.
Of course,
It's always good to be funny, I guess. Just throw. You got to add humor because if there's no humor, you know,
it
I don't
doesn't
know,
attract.
and not really. It does. It does because there is times, yes, when humor should be set aside, but there's other times where you want to add a bit just to keep it fresh, right?
Yeah, always.
That was like me and Nigel. We I'm not. This is the thing. I just realized this just by thinking about it. It wasn't our idea. Like we seen Dig and Ditch and Bitch and do the funny walk arounds, and we seen other people do funny walk arounds, and we just said, no, we're gonna do one now. So but that doesn't mean anything. It still doesn't mean they're gonna be the same idea. Funny walk arounds. I've always got a kick out of those
Oh yeah.
by anybody. Actually, as even as much as I know about equipment now, just because I'm into it all the time. But it's just funny. I'd go do it again.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I put the disclaimer at the beginning of the videos because I'm trying to say shit that half the time I don't even mean, but just to be funny and entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. And people can't take everything to heart when it comes to that stuff.
That's why we said last night in the Cake Up Joe. Funny that you mentioned that actually. That we said towards the end that everything we say take with a grain of sand because half the time we don't actually mean this shit.
Exactly. Yes.
Because when we actually get down to the talking part, once we get the news and crap out of the way, when we get down to the talking part, we're just joking around most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, if you read half the shit we say, and if you go on the Model News Instagram, up now this abnormally long, wrong, and broken episode, we talk everything from equipment to football bats, and I'll explain that in a second, to Model News T-shirts and Kevin's shocking Spanish revelation, and much more on this bigger, longer, and uncut episode of the Sunday Cake Up and Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you,
So
I don't know if you got the dick joke in there or not, but
no, I didn't.
the bigger, longer, and uncut part,
Oh, okay.
I
Okay, I got
yeah, we had to throw a dick joke in there.
you.
And then the football bat. Joe likes to say a lot about, this is not as fucked up as a football bat.
I don't.
Yeah, Joe makes you get it, but it's like football bat. You don't play football with a bat, so
Oh no, I got that much.
yeah. So, and the long, wrong, and broken part was from the blooper, and I might upload that too. When he goes, hey guys, welcome back to the Sunday Kick Up Show. Well, that's fucking broken. And like I said, we broke out into laughter, and it ruined it for once.
Yeah.
But we always have great times when it comes to recording these shows, and really, it's all about having fun. That's the epicenter of
Yeah.
these.
Oh, exactly. That's what YouTube. That's what the whole hobby is supposed to be, anyway, right?
Yeah,
Like we all enjoy it, so we funded fun. So
exactly.
it's a good. That's why I'm really enjoying being on the show, and like I said, I'm game for this whenever because I love talking about. I could talk about this for days, and there's always new stuff happening. So I'm in on this. This is a really great idea. I never even knew about it. I really didn't. I couldn't believe it when I seen it, and I started listening, and I said, "Wow, this is going places."
I don't know if you ever watched the show Model Chat with Reed Estes. It was like in
When
two.
was this? Was this a while ago?
It was probably about 2012ish, mid 2012.
Well, that's why that rings a bell. And I think I was involved with it
Remember,
mildly, very mildly.
Sal was on their first episode. And they had like the community buzzing over it.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Th-
You sold. Yep. I
th-
was involved with that.
this is
I do
the
remember.
Model News is the direct descendant of that.
I
Literally,
do.
we bought the rights to it, and Model News is actually Model Chat just evolved.
But
Which,
it's a lot better though because from what I can recall, I can't. Well, I can't really, but there had to be some kind of reason whatever happened. I don't know.
well, I
Did
mean,
I there being a lot of fighting, or was that just Nodule being Nodule? I can't
ac-
remember now.
actually, what happened was there was two guys ahead of it, Reed and Trash Number 9, and then Austin Bolton, aka Cat 330 FM. They got
Oh yeah.
they got into it about Austin streaming Call of Duty on there or something weird like
Well, I mean,
that, and then
there's a
Sal left, and a bunch of people followed suit, and that caused fighting between the two, and then
yeah. Well, I mean, streaming Call of Duty. Well,
yeah.
I'd almost make another channel for that.
Well, I mean,
That's not like. Don't get me wrong. I've got the Call of Duty games. I've played them. I liked them, but
yeah.
you know, I wouldn't put any of that on my own YouTube channel. I'd kind of make something else for that if I wanted to stream it, right?
And then for a week or so, it was really like there was two model chats. Then Austin left. No one's heard from him since either.
I've heard the name, but I have, like I said, since I've been scrolling through YouTube and Facebook, I haven't seen anything either.
But then after that, later on that year, me and a bunch of guys, we got together. We paid a little bit of money for it, bought the rights out to it straight up, and then after that, it really took off from there. We went for the model chat name for about a year after that, and then we just said, you know what? This place has a history of fighting, so we should just change the name, start fresh, and Model News came up, and it went from there.
It clearly worked really well.
It has worked pretty well. I mean, we're getting up there to close to 3,500 likes on Facebook, which is awesome.
That is really awesome.
And also, the streaming thing is going well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also starting to get merchandise out there. We got T-shirts now and stuff, and we got plans for future. So
It's great to see. It's excellent, and like I said, right, it keeps everything alive and lively, and keeps people in the zone on what's going on, and it brings people together. Like Sal's in on this, and now I'm in on this. Now I know it's sad to say that, like I remember when I watched Sal's first part when he came on the show, and you guys were naming the guys like Rabbit Smeller 400, Mike is his name.
Yeah.
And then the guy from Maine, you guys couldn't figure his name. I remember his name perfectly because me and him became really good. His name's Ryan Pinchan, and his name was Cat345ME.
Oh yeah.
And I, Sal and Rabbit Smeller, they made good stop motions, but this guy was really good at them. If you
And
can recall, they're all still on his channel. They're all on here.
430 Bobcat was great too.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, he was.
And,
So if
and
anybody watches this, they definitely should go. I'm sure everybody knows anyway. Everybody sees those because they're always in the Like I'll always watch a video and then I'll look in the recommended or up next videos on the side and I'll see one of his stop motions there or unboxings or reviews.
yeah, but I mean, 430 Bobcat, he's been supporting us since really day one.
Yeah,
He was on our first live stream,
nice.
which meant a lot, especially for somebody like me. And we actually got to be good friends. Cat 963D, he was up there. Of course, he disappeared off the face of the earth.
I remember him.
Yeah, Justin. A lot of people actually hate him
Yeah,
now
just
because he kept trying to do customs for people and it just didn't work out.
I've had that run with him. And I remember when I first got into YouTube, it was that fall. Uh, I was talking to him, and he had a bunch of models that he wanted to sell off, right? And he gave me a price on them, and I was totally down for it. And he backed out from selling me the models, and then the next thing I knew, he blamed me for it, and I couldn't understand why. And he didn't like me anymore after that.
Yeah.
But there was I think it was a A40D Volvo involved, and a few first gear pieces that back then when I first started this, I only had a few John Deere models and some old cat stuff. Like if you watch my very first stuff, like I had nothing, Ertl and a few old Norscott pieces.
Yeah.
Started out basically from nothing, right? And I wanted those, so we were all it was gonna go down, and he backed out, and I had that running with him. So, but yeah, I remember there was some. He got caught up in some stuff.
Of course, I hear he's a firefighter and all that now, but
Who? Which one?
Ju-
Justin or Ryan?
Justin.
Okay, Ryan is too. Cat 345
Uh,
ME.
yeah.
You got him on Facebook. That's basically what he done. He pretty much just he's a diehard firefighter, and that's pretty much what took him away from YouTube. He's always very busy with that stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I think we're about to call this part an episode. We'll do another part. It's gonna be a lot shorter because I know we're approaching the hour and a half mark on this.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm watching it, and I'm like, man, this is it's long. Like I said, I can talk all night, right? It doesn't bother me, but for the viewer's sake.
We'll do a part two here in a sec. We'll continue the
Oh yeah,
conversation in a
sure.
second.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so definitely we'll be back. Part 3.5, I guess, up next. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back in a sec. Or in another episode. Well, it'll be a sec for us. For you guys, I don't know. It'll be a couple hours. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
we'll be back.